So last but not least, today I wanted to talk about inflation. This is something which is a global headline at the moment. It's big news. There's a lot of reasons why it's kind of happened, and a lot of people want to know what is it, but then likewise, how will it affect me? And they're all 100% valid kind of comments. I did a poll on LinkedIn yesterday. It was something like 96% of people said that they were concerned about how it could impact them. About 8% were kind of, maths don't work out, but some people just didn't know how it was going to affect them, and actually some people weren't bothered. But the point is, this is something which will affect almost everyone in the world, and I wanted to kind of talk about it and at least address it. So basically, what is it? Inflation, by its very definition, is when there's a reduction in purchasing power for people. So for instance, how far will £1 go in terms of buying kind of stuff? In truth, it's when the cost of living kind of goes up, and actually things like food, fuel, petrol go up more than your basically wages. And what that means, if we kind of break this down, you have people, and then business at the chimney, and then that's it. That looks like a cake. Anyway, doesn't matter. I was trying to draw a factory. It failed. It doesn't matter. But in terms of inflation, what is it? So basically, this is when we all take home pay, and then we use pay or our money or our wages to buy stuff. And that could be food, fuel, anything really. And the issue, what we have at the moment, is that the cost of everything is going up. But actually our pay has generally stayed the same. What the Bank of England and lots of international banks and organizations try and do, and in America you have the Federal Reserve and lots of different things, is try and keep this thing called inflation around 2%. Keep it manageable, but you want to keep the economy growing, because if it's growing, it adds value. And it's kind of what they try and do is use different policy and tools to kind of keep us on this steady state of controllable kind of growth. Because of a lot of things that have happened, so we've had the COVID, so there was a massive impact there that government started to chuck loads of money into the economy to try and keep things going, keep people employed, and to really kind of get through it. We've had the war in Russia that basically, especially on fuel, our fuel prices have gone through the roof because actually people have stopped importing Russian oil and gas. I think it's Belarus and Finland and a few other, Germany, and we're massively reliant on that. So the point is, everyone else that sells those same products, now there's more demand, so the price has gone up, which has affected all of us. There's been issues in the supply chain, which comes again from COVID and labour shortages and fuel. And basically what's happening is that it's a perfect storm where costs are really going up, which isn't kind of great. From a business point of view, and I work with lots of different businesses on this, you've got exactly the same thing. So basically your costs are going through the roof, which isn't ideal, especially if you're tied into long-term contracts or framework agreements where you've agreed a set price for a set amount of time. You're going to get squeezed, and that's tough. Your supply chain is struggling, so the people that you normally buy stuff from are putting their prices up. And then likewise, in terms of your staff, because of the pressure on them, you have a lot of people are kind of switching jobs and stuff at the moment. And I kind of get it that basically they need the money to live off, that if the business can't pay them or give them a pay rise, which they often can't because their costs have gone up, etc., and their client won't pay it, and it's a nightmare. You've got businesses being squeezed, people, workers being squeezed. You do have a lot of large companies that really kind of hate this. Keith Stevenson on my post yesterday commented how can it be allowed that you have your major multinationals and banks and supermarkets making these £1 billion fortunes every year when regular people can't even afford to buy food and stuff. It's horrible. So you've got this really difficult position where people are struggling, the businesses are struggling, and we shouldn't really forget that. And then what is the worry is that either it'll keep going and it can run away with itself, where actually you've had this in the past in different parts of Africa where it's called hyperinflation, where basically it spirals out of control and it just crashes. Or you then have governments and banks and stuff can use something called monetary policy, where they can change the cost of borrowing to make it more expensive to borrow money to invest in stuff, which will slow down this. But some people would then argue that that slows down the economy. And then actually, if you slow down the economy, will that create a recession? That then more people will lose their jobs. And basically, in summary, inflation is not good. And where we're almost in a really difficult position that businesses are struggling, people are struggling. I'll be honest, for them themselves, it's not really their fault. It's government's role and major banks, like international banks, role to kind of keep this ticking over. Then actually, I think we're in for a bit of a tough time. So actually, if you've heard this inflation thing get about it around, it is kind of important to at least have an awareness of it. What can you do for both of these? The first one is try and keep your costs down. So if there's anything you can do to reduce your overhead, reduce your bills, have a smaller mortgage, have less debt, etc., interest rates will go up. That actually, if you're struggling to pay the interest now on your credit card or whatever, but you've kind of been putting off paying it off, that will go up. So it will get tougher and tougher and tougher. The more you can kind of offload any costs and debt and overhead, the more easily you're going to be able to weather the storm as we kind of go forward. Security in terms of just, I'll be honest, if you're worried that your job is at risk, I wouldn't jump yet, but I would just keep an eye out for what else is kind of out there. And then likewise for businesses, it's doing everything you can to keep your existing clients warm, give them a cuddle, say hello to them, check back in with different people, and also do the big push to try and get into new markets, new sectors, new whichever. Because actually, I think realistically, we are due for a pretty big correction. Since 2008, the market, as from what I saw yesterday, has basically grown for a long time now without a big kind of correction or crash. We probably are due one. But the point is, actually, if you can get your kind of ducks in a row and get things in order, from that, there is huge opportunity to really kind of grow and rebound and do well. But it is tough and it will be tough. And actually, I would expect it to kind of stay tough for at least, 2 years as well. I know that's not great news and not really like happy kind of stuff, but it is what it is. What do you think? Do you think differently? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think, how were you planning to kind of get through this? I would love to know. It's 9:33 here in the UK. If you catch this on YouTube, please kind of drop me a message and stuff as well. My name's Steve Pugh. I'm always here to help. If you're anywhere in the world, please feel free to reach out. I'll happily send you a free copy. So the Roadmap MBA is a real world business course to help you grow your business or career and really help you just build your skills and knowledge so that if you're a business owner and the recession hits, how do you get through it and how do you thrive from it? What we tried to do is almost bring together the world's best theory on stuff, but really make it practical and easy to use to really help you grow and survive, because that's the important kind of thing. Or if you just work for other people and you work in your your career, which is what I did until 2-3 years ago, the more skilled you are and the better you are at different stuff, you're going to be more employable, you're going to get promoted quicker, and you can add more value to really help grow your career as well. So on both of those, hopefully I can help. It is completely free, so there's no access or whatever. And then likewise for the people that do pay, that's where we have the live classroom sessions and we do more one-to-one support. We help you go through your kind of career and really help, for me to add value however I can as well.